Today I'm reviewing Blue Beetle, and please remember this is just my opinion. I will be spoiling. You've been warned. Let's get started. Solo as the lead actor, our hero, Blue Beetle, is very likable and charismatic. I really enjoyed his character in this film. I did like the family element for a large portion of the film, particularly more towards maybe the first or second act. The third act is where it kind of loses me a little bit, but I do like that element. It makes it easier to relate to, and I think that it's heartwarming at the same time. There are some fun elements and scenes in this film, particularly one where he actually gets the suit. It is pretty funny, and I had a good time watching that moment. Sadly, that's where my positives end for this film. There are so many contrivances in this film, I could not get past it. Honestly, I think your tolerance for contrivances in movies can really affect your enjoyment, and in this case it did. An example of this is George Lopez's character, who plays the uncle. He conveniently has this machine that's able to disrupt security camera footage, and this is exactly what our lead characters need to steal something from a corporation. It just was so convenient, and it honestly took me out of the movie. 5 to 10 minutes later, that same machine that was used to disrupt the security footage is also being used as a projectile from the back of a truck by using the EBrake, and it conveniently takes out the villain to save our hero character. It just was so silly, and there are so many moments like this. This is just one example that was literally like maybe 10 or 15 minutes apart. I mean, the list goes on. We have George Lopez again, knowing how to just operate and control the giant Beetle machine, or Beetle vehicle, I should say. Like, what? There's a leap in logic there. How does he know how to do any of this? It just doesn't make sense. Also, other characters in the family are thrown into the third act, and they actually do stuff, and it just becomes kind of silly. I couldn't get on board with it. I couldn't help but feel like it was just very distracting and over the top. The worst part of this film is definitely the villain, played by Susan Sarandon. Her character is absolutely dreadful. Horrible, like bad acting, bad writing, bad directing with that character. It's just so bad. It's over the top, it's cringy. I couldn't get past it at all. I hated the villain in this film. And her minion character is not much better. In fact, there's a scene towards the end where we get a flashback and we're supposed to kind of sympathize with him, but it was way too late at that point. It's like they needed to show me that like way earlier for it to actually have any sort of impact towards the end. So the villains in this film fall absolutely flat. Overall, I really appreciate the cultural aspect of the film. I think it is very important. I do understand why a lot of people want to really get behind this film. I really appreciate that, but it did not work for me. I'm gonna rate it a 5 out of 10. I don't necessarily think it's a bad movie. I just think it's far from being great. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.